Welcome, everyone. Project Find Your Fire tonight, presenting on Quit Swimming with Rocks. So the first thing is, I want to say, how are you feeling about your support team and yourself? If you want to start now looking at that, evaluating it, and getting the how-to tools on how to reach your potential, you're in the right spot. And really changing yourself, investing in yourself is the first key to that. So we hope that you're here today with us so we can empower you to live your life and your truth.
Absolutely. This is all about all of those things, those people, those places you surround yourself with. And it's about building yourself up. Sometimes we feel like we can barely keep our head above water. It's because we're dragging those heavy things behind us and we're clinging desperately to those flotation devices. Well, it's time to let go of those heavy things so that you can not only swim, but you can thrive in your pool. So before we get to it, though, I want to remind you, if you haven't gotten the handout, the workbook, it's a small one this time, make sure you click on the link to get that. If you can't find the link, whatever the thing is, please let us know. We'll make sure you get it.
Yes, this is critical to your continued growth. And he says small handout, 2 pages. I said it's 4 pages, but it's still small. It's the tool to help really keep the momentum going. And it's accountability, right? You're investing the time and energy in yourself. So this is a tool to help along with that journey. So let's go. Let's light the fire.
All right, absolutely. So the first thing that we need to do is to take an inventory of our pool around us and our friends and a family that we surround ourselves with and those places that we visit and all of those other things. Take that inventory, but you have to take a really honest look at that inventory, because lots of times we believe that we surround ourselves with this big circle of friends, this network or entourage, but really that entourage might be holding you back. It's not the quantity of your circle of things you surround yourself with, but it's the quality of the circle that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, and here's where we talk about intent. So we need to do this inventory. So we have to really evaluate our current state. So Kelly already mentioned some things, but let's go a little bit deep on that circle of life. So you need to take stock of people, places, your time and energy, the language, and look at the type of dialogue that's happening, not only with yourself, but with the others around you in all of these areas of your life. So let's just talk through a few. So a lot of people have careers or jobs, or maybe where they're spending a significant amount of time, right? Usually there's a team or coworkers or people you're on the phone with. Need to look at clearly the type of energy, the type of dialogue, the approach with those people. Is it a positive, encouraging, supporting environment? Are you in a safe place? And we say safe, that's physically, but mentally and emotionally. Do you feel like you can be honest, that you can be authentic? Those are all the things that you're looking at. So anything else on that one on the workplace?
Well, I think we've all been in work environments where it's a great environment, but there's just that one person. You might have 24 other people, but there's that one person who just constantly, whatever they're doing, but they can drag the morale down of everybody around them. And everybody hates going to work now because of this person. So that's what we're talking about. It's taking a hard look at some of that.
And let's talk about that a little bit more specifically. The idea is to take stock or a current inventory of the current status of places, people, environments. But the change is going to start with you, right? You need to be aware of that person, understand the interactions, and then there's tools and things that we're going to talk about how you can change that. So work is one of them. Family is another one. Family is very interesting because we don't always choose our blood family or our relatives. We do get to choose our friends, but with family and friends, you have a choice, right, on the interaction and the contributions to that support system. So you've got to really look at what kind of types of conversation you're having, what is the dialogue, who is it with, is it at the right time? What else would you like to add here on
Well,
this?
if you've worked with me, and I know that some of you have, then you've heard me say before that if you can eliminate all of those people and those places and those things that you are not, you will have no choice but to spend time with who you are. And with family is a difficult one, like April said, because it's hard to cut your family out. You drop that weight so that you can thrive. I'm not saying you need to cut this person completely out of your life. What I'm saying is minimize the time, minimize the energy. Don't spend your extra resources on this person like they want you to do. Instead, spend your time and energy on those things that are helping you thrive and lift you up and make you a better person.
Yeah, so the idea is to be intentful about the time and energy and focus with not only your own resources, but when you're spending that time in another environment with your family or with your friends. Make sure it is an alignment with who you are and an alignment to where you're going. Okay, so we talk about work or career areas. We talked about a little bit about friends and family. There are other social events. So church events, school events, just maybe your community events. I was going to say your weekends, how you spend your weekends, maybe even your hobbies. So there's things that we all enjoy doing, which is an important part of our growth to continue to build out those areas that we enjoy and experience that. But make sure when you're in those environments, you're really taking inventory of the people around you. So if you're out throwing axes on Friday night because that's something that you enjoy, make sure the people around you are also in alignment with you on who you are, and there's some honesty and truth around those people and who you're with. There are people out there that do support all the hobbies and activities in a way that aligns with you in a larger scale. I don't know how would you explain that?
This has to do a lot with energy, and I'm big on energy, and we've talked about this in the past in my 3 rules on energy, and I'm not going to delve into those in detail. But if you go out to a community event, a picnic, or the axe throwing bar that April is referencing, or whatever it might be, and you feel this negative energy around you, it can very easily suck you in to also a negative energy. So you need to sort of be aware of your surroundings at all time, not just physical, but also mentally and emotionally, because you are going to be a part of that. You are literally a product of your environment. I cannot stress that enough. You will become what you surround yourself with.
So on current inventory, what else are we looking at here?
Okay,
Besides
so
people,
your current
places,
inventory, when you start looking at things, and in the workbook, I have you list down some of those things, and I want you to be really brutally honest with yourself. Some of those people who are not supportive of you, who do not lift you up. Sometimes we have those friends where you give an off-the-wall idea to, and they're like, that was dumb. I don't know why you would even think that. It's time. The places that you visit, are they supportive and uplifting for you? I know the food is great and it tastes really good going down, but the next morning you feel like crap. I know that the drinks taste good, but the next morning you just feel like crap. It might be time to minimize your energy in those places. What are the thoughts that you're having? Are they supportive and uplifting? Which ones are negative? Which ones are bringing you down? It's time to cut those out. But then you have to flip the switch and look at the positive people who are lifting you up, who are supporting you. Those friends who, when you give the off-the-wall idea, say, yeah, that's awesome. It's a little weird, but it sounds really cool. Spend more time there, because those are the people who are going to push you to the next level. The same with the places. What places make you feel great? Not just in the moment, but the next day and the day after. And what are those thoughts that you're giving yourself that are empowering and supportive, that are lifting you up? Stay on those. Focus on those in your life. So cut out what's weighting you down and start focusing on what's holding you up.
So it starts with you, and the current inventory that Kelly's talking about is you also need to make sure that you're contributing to that in an authentic way, meaning how are you showing up to those people, places, and conversations. So you're going to take current inventory, but make sure that when you're doing that your evaluation, that you're showing up honest also in those.
That's a great point, because you are also somebody else's flotation device. Make sure that you're not being their rock, their burden. Make sure you're lifting people up and making people feel supportive and ready to go and take on a new challenge.
So that brings us to, now we did the evaluation. So that's the current state. Now we're going to go to what needs to change. We talked a little bit about it, which is once you do this evaluation and inventory, what needs to change? Well, you may identify that a certain place or certain environment or certain people aren't serving and supporting you, and you need to make a change. So let's talk about what else needs to change.
So there are support systems all around you, whether it's members of your family, in your circle of friends currently, yourself, a coach. Everybody should have a coach. Peers, mentors.
Yep, and this is a good opportunity to identify where you maybe need to find additional resources or support. Again, we're talking about the quality, not the quantity. So if you do this evaluation and you say, I really don't see anyone supporting me on my health journey, and I really need somebody to help me in this area, right? I need a coach, I need a mentor. This is where we talk about the need to change, where you evaluate current state and now there needs to be a change. You need to cut out and add. So we're going to add resources, quality resources, not quantity, and make sure that you're evaluating and you're honest about the intent of these people or places or conversations, that they align to you, but that you're also honest with the person that you are asking to support you. And some of those aren't direct asks. So for example, social media is an amazing place to find groups, maybe in hobbies or health groups that support you in your journey, right? But you have to become authentic, and you have to be authentic in what you're asking from that mentor or coach.
That's exactly right. And that's a good point. I belong to a lot of different groups, and some groups that I join and then I find out that these guys just bash on each other all the time. It doesn't take me long to figure that out and then leave that group and find another one that's more supportive of each other. And the same is true for you. So not only are you looking for the support around you, but you're also being that support for other people. And you can be that support for yourself. There are a ton of tools and techniques, and we've been giving them to you all along. And there are more that we'll keep giving you. But all of those things help you coach yourself.
So we've said it before, have a coach, be a coach, and coach yourself. If you're here, you have some already understanding of either coaching yourself or you have a coach, but you need to be a coach to others at the same time. That's how you learn and grow also. So this is where you need to make the changes, but they need to be intentful changes and not big changes. What do we always talk about? 2 millimeter shifts, small, intentful changes.
That's exactly right. Don't burn your boats without a plan. You got to have that plan.
Okay, so are we on to 3, accountability?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do number 3.
Because I like this one.
So 3 is accountability, and what additional resources and how you, because it all starts with you, can change right now, today, your accountability plan.
That's exactly right. So I have an activity actually I put people through. And again, I know that a couple of you know this because we're currently working through this, but this is about your personal board of directors. If you want to be the best, surround yourself with the best. If you want to be the greatest tennis player in the world, surround yourself with the greatest tennis players in the world. You're not going to become a better tennis player by playing your younger sibling. You got to go out and play the best and learn from the best. So,
yes. Don't play tennis with me if you want to be a professional tennis player.
I don't know why I always use the tennis analogy. I don't even play tennis. And when I do, I'm not very good at it, although I do beat April. So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at with tennis.
We'll just go with that. We'll roll with it. So this is about becoming what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's about being intentful and having.
In the old days, when you were
Oh,
young, you went to go live with somebody to learn the skill. You became an
apprentice.
apprentice. And so this is like becoming an apprentice. Now, the theory behind the apprentice is the young child would go live with the master, not just to learn the skill, but in doing so, the young child would learn all the habits and traits of the master, because if it works for the master, it's got to work for you. So they woke up at the same time as the master. They had the same breakfast. They had the same morning routine. They learned the skills then throughout the day. They had the same nighttime routine. It was all about habits and rituals. You create those and you get a certain result. Again, if it works for the master, it's got to work for you. Now, the personal board of directors is a little bit tricky, because the caveat to this is that these people don't even need to know that they are on your personal board of directors. What you're going to do is you're going to pick out different people who excel at something in their life. You know, we've talked about the different parts of our life, our health and wellness, and our finances, and our career, and our friends, and our family, and our relationships, and our spiritual part of our life. All of these different parts of our life. Maybe there's somebody who excels at a family life or finances, and you think, wow, I wish I could have that family life. I wish I could have the same financial situation as this person. I wish I could excel at my career like this person. All you have to do is study these people. For the family life, I want you to study how they talk to their family. How do they act with their family? What are they doing with their family? And if you model that and incorporate those things into your life, if it works for them, it just might work for you. Finances. If you want to expand your finances, maybe Warren Buffett is somebody you want to study. Now, that doesn't mean you have to invest the same amount as Warren Buffett, but watch what he invests in. Watch when he invests. Watch how he invests. Just because you're not investing the same amount doesn't mean you're not getting the same percentage of return, and you're learning something about that financial process. So the same is true for all parts of your life, and this is how the board of directors works.
Yep. The key to what Kelly's pointing out is the intentfulness behind it. So you have to find where you're having gaps, or where you are authentic and need to align with your, like he said, whether it's the spiritual, the family, the relationships, the career. You need to find and be authentic and truthful in what you want and what you're looking for. And then you seek that out in a mentor. And to Kelly's point, those mentors do not have to be people that are directly in contact with you. It can be somebody that you're studying. But the idea is that there's intent, that there's focus, and that you're growing through this experience. These are resources.
Right. This is the part of the process where you're not just swimming in your pool anymore. This is where you're going to start thriving in your pool.
Small shifts, intent, so we talked about the accountability and resources, so growing in those gaps, but I want to go back. If you feel like you are underwater and you feel like you are just surviving and not thriving, getting rid of the rocks is the first step. Identifying
Actually, the first step is knowing what the rocks are.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. The evaluation, knowing what they are, and then removing those, and then identifying the gaps that you need to fill with, again, the accountability and resources. So it's simple, but now it's really investing. It starts with you, investing the time and energy and the focus to really invest in yourself, because you change yourself, you change your world.
And like April said, this is about small steps. We're not saying sit down right now at your kitchen table and make a phone call to all those people who don't support you and tell them they're not in your life anymore. All we're saying is take a good, honest, hard look and stop spending the energy, stop spending the time on these people. You don't have to completely cut them out of your life, but you have to stop carrying that weight around so it can free up some of your energy for the things that do support you. All of those, your support system, and then building that support system and studying great things around you and adding to your pool.
Yeah, if you're leaving a place or a conversation or person thinking, I want something different from that, or I wish that that conversation maybe hadn't happened that way, that might be a good indicator that you need to make some small shifts. And like Kelly said, some things are going to be easy to identify that you can remove. Other things is going to be a shift. It's going to be your intent to not spend as much time in that conversation, or shift the conversation with that person to say, hey, this isn't a positive conversation, and kind of end it or turn it to be a positive one.
That's exactly right.
We do that. We don't have a lot of negative conversations, but we'll shift. We'll recognize that we're not having the value added, resourceful conversation that we need to, and then we just make those shifts.
Yeah, and it's about refocusing or taking a new perspective on something. It can be the same sort of thing, but if you look at it from a different perception, it can give you a different result.
So how are you feeling now about your support team and yourself and the conversations and your environment? Because it starts with you. So you should feel empowered. You should feel empowered that you can make a change, but even more so when you start getting into those conversations now, you should know it starts with you. And you have all the power to make the change and to live your empowered truth.
Right. Now it just becomes a choice.
So I know Kelly said he's not saying you have to sit at the kitchen table and remove everyone from your life, but he is saying you need to sit at the kitchen table and complete your handout of the inventory of your current pool.
Yes, the beautiful handout.
Yes. So did you have anything else today? We covered the 3: current state inventory, evaluate, remove, identify gaps, and get accountability resource, mentors.
Yep, and then build yourself back up and then thrive in your pool. So right now, if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can send a message, the chat message thing. You can do that, and we'd be glad to answer anything that you ask. If we don't know it, we'll make it up.
Chat. Oh, where can we get the link?
The link is posted in the event, in the discussion section, but I will make sure, take a note of
Got it.
That one.
Got the.
And I will send you directly the link.
I was gonna say I know the name, but I don't know if I have a contact to send directly.
Jot down, and then we'll.
The name?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is in the discussion section of the event also. Okay, perfect. Is there anything else? That was an easy one.
No other questions? You know how to get a hold of us. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have on this subject or other subjects.
If you have any suggestions for next month or the month after, we do these every month. So we're open to suggestions, and we want to hit on what you want us to hit on. I think we might have a topic for next month. It's going to be about sort of managing our time, picking 3 to thrive, grouping, and how to get through that.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. So it's a reminder, have a coach, be a coach, and coach yourself.
Yep, take an accountability and build up your support system.
Till next time, live with passion.
Live with purpose.